As you know, here at Test Drive, we like to do things a little differently. That's why we've got two versions of the 2018 Kia Optima for you today. Our spotlight really is on this white one, the 2018 Kia Optima SXL with the turbo engine. However, we do have the 2018 LX Plus in gray to show you kind of what the differences are between what will be the most popular seller and one that is fully loaded. We're going to be showing you everything about these cars, going on a drive, and going over everything that you need to know if you're in the market for a mid-size family sedan. Now obviously these are both the same car, same model year, so they look very similar. The front ends are pretty identical. You've got the same kind of grille on the front, and the headlights still take the same amount of space up, but with the LX Plus, they're halogen. They do have projectors, but they are still a halogen-based technology, and there's no fog lights. We go over to the SXL Turbo, and you have a full suite of LED lights on the front, including the running lights that circle around, and then you've also got LED fog lights at the bottom. Now the other major thing too, you've got your collision avoidance sensor down here and your front camera, because this vehicle does have a 360-degree camera system, which is something that we don't often find, especially from Kia, but also really when it comes to any mid-size family sedans. So moving around the side, you've got your rest of the cameras underneath the mirrors here. And the thing that I really like about the auto folding mirrors on this is when you lock the car, they will fold up automatically. And we're gonna keep the camera on the mirror there. I'm gonna walk away for a second as if I was parking the car, you know, walking away. Now I'm coming up to it. I'm not touching anything. Nothing's going on, but they'll automatically open up. Now that is really cool. It's something that I think a lot of manufacturers could take notice. And Mazda, if you're watching, this is pretty easy to do. So let's see it going on all your vehicles 2019. Now moving on, you've got lights built in, LED lights here on the door handles. Your proximity key allows you to unlock all the doors. And for the most part, yeah, that's what you would expect to find in a mid-size family sedan. The only thing that you have going on in the back that you also don't see normally, you do have a suite of parking sensors on the back of the car, which helps assist with that 360-degree camera system. And they work very well. Very similar to what we see on actually the Subaru that we just featured, but also on BMW, where it shows on your screen how close you are, a little square, green, yellow, or red, depending on how close, as well as in the driver's information panel, it'll show the sensors at the as far as you are to the objects in there. So there's a really good system going on with that. And overall, the proportions are quite good. And I gotta say, the styling on this car is quite nice, especially at the top level trim. But again, side by side, they do look very good sitting beside each other. Now we're starting off with the LX Plus because it is the volume seller for the Optima. Most people are going to be looking at this model because it's affordable and gets you really what you need. 4 wheels, 4 doors, and a steering wheel. But you also do get a couple extra things. You do have a heated steering wheel and heated front seats, and also there's a little screen there. You do get a backup camera, and it does have XM radio. So you do have things to get you going. And really, I mean, if you're buying a car to get back and forth to work, to have something in order to keep your family safe and drive around and, you know, do the bare minimum that you need in a car, then the LX Plus will definitely do the job for you. It is comfortable, even with the cloth seats, and the space in the back is pretty good. It's pretty comparable to other mid-sized vehicles that we've featured. Now it does feature the 2.4 liter inline 4 engine, so it's not quite as powerful as you get on the SXL, but it still gets the job done. If you think about it again, if you're going back and forth to work, you really don't need a whole lot. It is efficient enough, and overall, I mean, it's good enough for what you'd be able to need it for. If you need more power, then certainly you can jump up to that 2-liter turbo and have a little bit more fun with it. But like I said, the majority of people are going to be looking at this trim. And yeah, aside from the screen being smaller and not having automatic climate control, the interior is pretty much the same. Same door cards. You know, they are kind of plastic. You do get a power driver door with 2 memory options. So again, it's a nice little feature there. But overall, the rest of it is pretty straightforward. There isn't a whole lot to surprise you in this car, but it does everything pretty well. The interior here in the SXL is very nice. It's actually very well laid out. You have an 8-inch navigation screen up top, and the navigation is actually some of the best that I've used. I'm willing to say that it actually is the best that we've used so far. You have a split screen view with the navigation on your home menu, so you can see the radio on the right and the navigation on the left. we've also used the actual navigation function, and it has worked very well. We've compared it with what Apple Maps or Android Auto would be doing, and they are very similar routes. Also, it has traffic through SiriusXM Radio, which is great, so you don't even really need to use your phone. That's one of the benefits that I've always used. Even though Apple Maps really is terrible, I like it for the traffic. And while you're not going to get traffic on the side streets, you do get it on the highways, even out in the middle of Quebec. So I've found that it works really well, and it helps you not have to use your phone. And the great thing too, there is a wireless charger, so you can just put your phone in the wireless charging pad and not have to plug it in. We did note though that the iPhone 8 Plus will fit almost barely into this spot, and it actually didn't charge it. It did say it was charging. It didn't lose any battery life over a 1-hour drive. It was at 84% when we dropped it in the Qi wireless charger, and when we took it out an hour later, it was still at 84%, but incredibly hot to touch. We tried the same thing with the iPhone 8. It fit better, and it also charged a few percent over the same amount of time, but it also got very hot. Now, we did test the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and it was at about 84%, and an hour later, it was 100%, and it wasn't that warm. So, Apple is kind of an issue. That's their own problem, but the wireless charger does work. Plus, you have USB and other outlets if you need to charge your devices. Now, the radio system on this is a Harman Kardon audio system, and I gotta say it sounds very nice. We have been using it mostly with XM radio. However, we do like the audio off of our device, and it sounds very nice with all the speakers around. Has a surround mode, and actually sounds very good, very comparable to other Harman Kardon systems we've used in luxury vehicles. So it's got a good system in here, and it's sort of a different option over what you would get on other vehicles, which is either Bose or another premium brand. So it's nice to see Harman Kardon in something that isn't a BMW. Now, some of the other creature comforts and safety tech that you do have radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. You have the 360-degree camera system, which works very well, and rear parking sensors that help with that system. Now, the biggest feature of the top trim here are these quilted Nappa leather seats. They are super comfortable. You actually just sink into them rather than sitting on top. They're not firm at all, very soft and comforting. And we took it on a long road trip, and during the entire time we were all very comfortable because it's the same type of material in the back seats as well. So if you've got somebody or two people in the back and they're looking to be on your road trip with you, then you don't have to worry about them being uncomfortable because there is good leg room back there, and the seats are just as comfortable in the back. Plus, with that outboard heated option, if it's cold like it is today, then your rear passengers will be quite happy with you. And also for those rear passengers, there are side window sunshades, which is a great feature, so you can close the panoramic sunroof on top and have the rear sunshades up on the sides, so that if you've got a kid and they maybe want to take a nap, it's a little bit easier for them to, without having to buy something to stick on the window. They never really fit properly and they usually pop off. So with this, it's built in and it covers the window, I'd say about 98%. Let's talk about performance and ride. Now, you're not going to be setting any lap records with this car at the Nürburgring. However, it is still pretty quick considering the 2-liter turbo engine. It gets about 245 horsepower. It's quick enough for your day-to-day activities, to get back and forth to work, to be able to get onto the highway. It's plenty powerful to do all of that, and you can still have a little bit of fun with it too. Now, the roads here are covered in snow. Snowed last night, and in typical Quebec fashion, they are not plowed and they are never de-iced. So we're not going to be doing any performance driving in this car. But overall, this is a very comfortable car to drive. The handling is very good, and especially with front-wheel drive in the snow, I found it to be very good. We do lose a little bit of traction going around the corners, but the whole point of front-wheel drive in the winter is it can pull you instead of pushing you. So if you're losing a little bit as you go around a corner, then you can give it a little bit of gas and it'll correct itself out. And it's one of the reasons why front-wheel drive isn't super bad when you're driving in the snow. Now, when it comes to everything else, we've really enjoyed the drive of this. It's been very comfortable from a seating perspective, but then also a ride perspective. We don't feel too much of the road as we're going along, which is, something that we usually find when we're driving any other car. Because the roads are so bad here, we end up having quite a bit of it go through the seats and through the chassis of the vehicle. But I gotta say that the suspension on this really eats up the bumps very well, and it makes it a very comfortable drive. And especially with the 2-liter engine, like I said, you get a little bit more of a performance boost over the 2.4 naturally aspirated. So if you are looking to have something that goes a little quicker, then this is certainly a good option for you. Now, during our drive with this car, we've averaged 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers. A lot of it was highway, but then there also was quite a bit of it idling based on what we were doing. We actually had to sit around for quite some time, and we had the engine running to stay warm because it's like minus 15 degrees out. But it's pretty good, pretty comparable to some of the other vehicles that we've tested. So you're not going to be saving tons of money on gas, but 8.3 isn't too bad for a vehicle of this size. So even though you do lose a little bit of traction going around those corners, it really doesn't go anywhere. You don't lose the back end at all, just because you just continue to put the gas on it and it will pull right through with the front wheel drive. And you can't get any ideas of going drifting with this because a lot of manufacturers, including Kia, have gotten rid of the manual handbrake. It is a parking brake now, an electronic little flippy switch here, so you're kind of out of luck. But speaking of flippy things, you do have flappy paddles. So if you did want to kind of go into a little bit of a performance mode, you do have that option. Considering it is a traditional automatic transmission, there's actual real gears there to be able to switch through. It does make it a little bit more fun if you want to have a little bit more fun, or if there's a specific reason why you need to use the flappy paddles.
We really enjoyed our week with the 2018 Kia Optima SXL Turbo, and I think you will too if you're in the market for a mid-size family sedan. We found that the navigation to be one of the best that we've used so far. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also two huge pluses for this vehicle, along with the wireless charger. Ventilated front seats in a car in this segment is still uncommon, and a nice upgrade with the Nappa leather to keep you comfortable on long trips. We also liked the rear side window sunshades and panoramic glass roof, which certainly put this feature-heavy sedan on the top end of the price scale. Now, to be fair, other non-premium midsize family sedans can get just as expensive, so if you want all the bells and whistles, you're looking at that $38,000 price tag. The LX Plus we showed at the beginning has an MSRP of $26,595 Canadian and has a lot of features you won't find on the competition at that price point. A car as great as this one does have some faults though. The leather is fantastic, but the rest of the interior is all plastic, including the dashboard. We hoped to find some sort of vinyl or leatherette trim on the SXL over the LX Plus, but the dashes were the same. Also, most of the other manufacturers do offer a heads-up display at this price point, so we'd like to see that added down the road. Finally, the trunk has a magic opening setting which allows you to stand behind it when the doors are locked and the key is in your pocket, which will pop it open. Problem is, it doesn't open automatically like other vehicles in this segment, so if your hands are full and you can't get to your keys, you still need to open the trunk by yourself. Kia's motto is the power to surprise, and they've definitely delivered on that promise with the Optima. This is a great family sedan that's incredibly popular here in Quebec, and with the newest generation, we can see this vehicle becoming a top seller for Kia. Thanks for watching this episode of Test Drive Spotlight on the 2018 Kia Optima SXL Turbo. As always, your support helps make this show possible by liking, sharing, and commenting on the video. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and also follow our Perpetual Radio Facebook page or Twitter account. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram as @NiallLivesey to see what we're doing on PRN and which cars we're driving each week. Until next time, take care.